Aziz milletim,
My great
değerli basın
nation,
mensupları,
distinguished members of press,
sizleri en kalbi duygularımla,
I
muhabbetle
cordially
selamlıyorum.
greet you all with most
Sözlerimin
heartfelt thoughts,
hemen başında
longing, and love.
Lübnan'da
In the
meydana
beginning
gelen
of my
patlama
words,
sebebiyle
I would like
dost
to
ve kardeş Lübnan halkına
extend
başsağlığı
my
ve geçmiş
condolences
olsun
to the
dileklerimi
friendly and brotherly
tekrarlamak istiyorum.
country Lebanon due to
Derin
the
tarihi ve
explosion
beşeri
that
bağlarımızın
took place in
bulunduğu
Beirut.
Lübnan halkının yanında yer almak için
We
tüm
will be standing with
imkanlarımızı
the people of
seferber ettik.
Lebanon, with whom
Cumhurbaşkanı
we have
yardımcım
deep
ve
historical
Dışişleri
relations,
Bakanım
and we have
patlama
mobilized all of
bölgesine
our
giderek
means.
ihtiyaçları
The foreign
ve
minister and as well as
talepleri
vice
bizzat
president
yerinde
visited the
tespit ettik.
site to
Rabbimden
identify
tüm insanlığı bu tür
potential
felaketlerden
needs
muhafaza eylemesini diliyorum.
for lending assistance.
Geçtiğimiz haftanın bir
May
diğer önemli
God
konusu
protect
da
us against all
Akdeniz ve
such
Ege'de
catastrophes.
ülkemizin
Another
haklarını ve
issue is
hukukunu
about
yok saymaya
protecting
yönelik
the rights
girişimlere
of our country
verdiğimiz
in the
cevaplar.
Aegean and Mediterranean
Bilindiği gibi
seas, and the
bölgedeki sismik araştırma
response we
faaliyetlerimizi
have given
Almanya
accordingly.
Şansölyesi
As you
Sayın
know,
Merkel'in ricası
upon the
üzerine
request of
iyi
Chancellor
niyet nişanesi
Merkel,
olarak
as a
bir
sign of
süreliğine
gesture of
ertelemiştik.
goodwill, we have
Ancak Yunan tarafı
postponed
hüsnü niyetle
some of our
hareket
drilling
etmediğini
activities, but
bir
the
kez
Greek
daha
party
göstermiş
once again
ve
showed that they
Mısır'la
are not
hiçbir hukuki
acting with
temeli
good
olmayan
intentions,
bir
and they signed
anlaşmaya
an agreement
yönelmiştir.
with Egypt,
Buradan
an
bir kez
agreement
daha
which
altını
has
çizerek
no legal
ifade
grounds.
etmek istiyorum.
I would like to
Türkiye'nin
underline from
hiç
here once
kimsenin
again,
hakkında,
Turkey has no
hukukunda,
eye on
toprağında,
the
denizinde,
rights,
meşru
laws,
çıkarlarında
territories,
gözü yok.
legitimate
Bizim tek
interests,
talebimiz
or seas
bize
of any
de
other
aynı
party.
anlayışla
Our only demand
yaklaşılmasıdır.
is that people
Türkiye gibi
come to us
180 bin
with the same
kilometre
understanding.
karelik dev bir toprak
We're
parçasını
talking about
görmezden gelip
a giant
birkaç
land
kilometre karelik adalar
of
üzerinden bizi
700,000
sahillerimize
square kilometers,
hapsetme
our
girişimine
country, and we will not,
elbette
of
rıza
course, show any
göstermiştir.
consent to
Dünyada
any
hiçbir ülke böyle saçma
action
ve
to
temelsiz
confine
bir
us
talebe
to a
boyun
small
eğmez.
area, and no country in the
Biz
world
diyoruz ki
will say
gelin
yes
Akdeniz'deki tüm
or
ülkeler
obey
olarak
to such
bir araya gelelim.
ridiculous demand.
Herkes için kabul
We say we
edilebilir,
should come
herkesin
together, all the
hakkını
countries in the
koruyan
Mediterranean,
bir formül
and
bulalım.
come up with a formula that will
Ülkemizin bu
protect the
çağrısına
rights
kulaklarını
and
kapatanlar,
interests of everyone.
güçlerinin
There's some
yetmediği,
who turn a
boylarında
blind
aşan
eye
bir
to
takım
our calls
girişimlerle
and
kendi
engage in
geleceklerini
activities
kendi
about
elleriyle
which they have no
karartıyorlar.
power and darken
Salgın
their
ve
own
onunla
features
bağlantılı
with
siyasi,
their own bare
ekonomik,
hands.
sosyal
Due to the
sorunların
pandemic, there
bir
are
kabus gibi
certain
üzerine
social,
çöktüğü, güçlere
political,
güvenenler
economic problems,
hüsrana
and there are
uğramaya
some who
mahkumdur.
trust in the power of the others,
Türkiye'nin bu
but they
konudaki
are
kararlılığını
only
hala kavrayamamış
doomed to
olanları
fail
bir an önce
and
gerçekleri
be
görmeye
disappointed.
ve
Therefore,
çözümü
those who
masada
are still
aramaya
not able to
davet
grasp the
ediyoruz.
realities should
Anlaşmazlıkların
look for
diyalog yoluyla ve
solutions
hakkaniyet
at the
temelinde
table,
çözümü için
and
biz her
for the
zaman varız
solutions
ve
of those
hazırız.
disputes
Bu konuda
on the basis of equity,
sağduyu
we are
hakim
always
olana kadar
ready.
Türkiye
Until
olarak
common sense
sahada ve
prevails,
diplomasi
we,
alanında
in the field and in the field
planlarımızı
of
uygulamaya
diplomacy,
devam
will
edeceğiz.
continue to
Nitekim
apply
Oruç
our
Reis
own
sismik araştırma gemimiz
policies.
dün saat 20'de
Oruç Reis
Antalya
seismic
atıklarından demir alarak
exploration vessel
görev
departed
bölgesine doğru
from Antalya
hareket etti.
offshore and
Yaklaşık 10 saat
started
süren seyirden
coursing
sonra
to
bu
the
sabah saat 8
area of
itibariyle de
task, and as of this
çalışmalarına
morning,
başladı.
8 a.m., it
Ekonomide olduğu gibi
started its
enerjide de
activities.
ülkemizin
As
bağımsızlığı için
in economy
mücadele
and the field of
etmeyi
energy as
sürdüreceğiz.
well, we will continue
Aziz milletim,
to struggle for the
Türkiye
independence of our
2002
country.
yılından bu yana
My great nation, since
başta ekonomi olmak üzere
2002,
eğitimden
in many
sağlığa,
fields,
ulaşımdan enerjiye
from
birçok
education to
alanda atılan
health,
adımlar
from
ve
economy to
gerçekleştirilen
many
reformlar
other areas,
sayesinde
we have
önemli
taken many
kazanımlar
steps
elde
forward
ettik.
and
2002 yılında
come up with many
236
reforms and
milyar
gained a
dolar
lot.
olan milli
In
gelirimizi
2002, our national income was 236 billion dollars, but in 2019 we have brought it up to 754 billion dollars, and per capita income was only 3,500, but it has risen more and more. However, due to Gezi Park protests and some other attacks, non-stop attacks, this figure fell. And Turkish economy's power in terms of economy, and according to the purchasing parity, Turkey has made its way higher in the ranks. And in terms of per capita income in the world ranking, we are in the mid-upper scales of the world. And in the World Index of Human Development, we have preserved our good position. According to the Humanitarian Development Report, Turkey on a year-on-year basis climbed up 6 ranks and made its way to the 56th rank. And in this category of high human capital development, we have claimed our position. To further boost competition and further improve the environment for business and investments, we have been engaged in many important activities. And according to the World Bank's business making easiness in business making index, we have claimed the 33rd rank. And in the past 18 years, everyone can better understand what kind of mileage Turkey has covered. And I would like to share some figures with you so that we can make comparisons. In our country, the annual automobile sales was 91,000 in 2002, and in 2016 this figure has increased all the way up to 756, and last year it was recorded at 375. And the sales of refrigerators 18 years ago was only 18 million, 1.8 million, but it has come to 2.5. The number of the washing machines sold also increased dramatically in the past 18 years. When it comes to the dishwashers, it was 280,000 in 2002, while it has exceeded 1.2 million. This goes the same for the sales of ovens and other white goods. Why am I saying such things, distinguished members of press? All these are the indicators to show the level of welfare in our country. These are such figures, and I articulate those only because of that. These figures also show the purchasing power of my citizens. It shows what kind of an improvement we have registered in terms of purchasing power. Now I can talk about the position of the companies. Now last year have had 85,000 new companies established, while it was only 35,000 on a yearly basis. And this goes the same for employment. And the stock exchange index was 110 points, but it has exceeded 1,000 points now. This was how it was when we took office in 2002. And last year, we have had a record-breaking number of tourists visiting our country, with a figure standing at 52 million. Of course, due to the coronavirus pandemic, we are facing some challenges, but we are recovering. Now, Germany and Russia, as of today, have opened their doors, their gates, to Turkey. Maybe we will not be able to achieve the same figures we had last year, but we will all observe a surge in the number of the tourists visiting our country. And we are mobilizing all our means to find solutions for the problems as regards the pandemic. And the central bank foreign currency reserve has come to $90 billion. This figure even went up as high as 135 billion back in time. And as I continuously say, our debt to IMF when we took office was $23.5 billion. But we have, in 2013 May, brought it to zero. Therefore, Turkey has no debts to IMF, but some still have some ulterior motives. For example, the main opposition party. They say that we will go to IMF or ask for money from IMF, but have no concerns as such. We have closed such gates long time ago. IMF asked for a debt of 105 billion from us, and the person responsible for the economy came to me, and I was the prime minister, and asked me if we should lend this money to them, and I said, give it away. And now the then Minister of Economy, now has established a political party and trying to teach us lessons. And the interest rates as well went as low as 3.5 when it used to be 11.5, and the pensions for the retired also increased dramatically. The minimum wage increased all the way up to 2,235, and it was only the pension for the lowest pension was 66, while it increased as well. So all those figures did dramatically rocket, and these are the figures to see. I'm not making any philosophy here. I'm only speaking the figures. This goes the same for the pensions. It was 25 liras. Now it is 885. The salaries for the muhtars also increased up to 2,200. The scholarships granted to the undergraduate students was only 45 liras per month, but now it is over 550. For the graduate studies and for the PhD studies, it stands as high as 1,000. And you can also remember that the universities used to charge for tuition fees, and it was costly for students, and there were many protests by the students, but we abolished that, the fees for the universities. Now we are not to pay anything for the universities as fees, and we grant and scholarships to our students and support our students continuously. The incentives for the agricultural sector has come to 22 billion liras from 1.8 billion. From education to health, from transportation to energy, in every field we can observe such figures, and the list goes on in terms of the figures increasing. We are trying our best to make sure that Turkey looks into the future with confidence and secures its position. And the fact that Turkey positions itself soundly in the region is only because of our strong and powerful position. Since 2013, my great nation, we have endured many attacks, but these helped us improve our reflexes to self-protect. And with God's will and by the support of our people, we have triumphed in every struggle we have taken on. And Turkey is a rising star in terms of being a regional and global player. And those who are disturbed by that, every time more sneakily came at us, and some brought criteria that were not asked of any other, some conditions that the others were not asked to abide by, or threats have been posed at us, from terrorist organizations to coup makers, from finance lobbies to some historical accounts. They all came at us, but we have overcome all these predicaments one by one. Therefore, 2019 was the year for rebalancing. In the current account balance and as well as inflation rates, we have claimed a lot. In 2018, October, the inflation rate was 25% too. And as of last year, it went down to 11.8%. By the policies applied by our country recently, we have diversified our markets and products. and the regional instabilities and the wars of trade, and despite all those, and also the ambiguities related with Brexit, in export we have broken another record and exceeded the figure of a volume of $180 billion. With our strong capacity and the support of tourism sector, the current transactions balance has even recorded a surplus. Despite all the attacks we have endured, our economy has grown bigger with the resolute steps we have taken forward, and we have recaptured its position of regrowing yet again. Of course, this maybe was a challenging path for us, but we will now turn this path into a high street, and we are taking actions for that end. In 2018, our economy grew notably in 2018, and the central bank politics interest rate, which went up 20 to 24%, have now come to 11%, and the market interest rates went all the way down to 8%, and these figures will follow an ever falling trend, because all we want is to make sure that the investors in this country act more powerfully and in a much more eased fashion. When it comes to borrowing rates, interest rates of our state, we have improved a lot. The domestic borrowing interest rates went to 9.7, has gone to 9.7%, and the foreign borrowing interest rates have now gone down to 4.7%. The economic emergence of our country has been ongoing, and it went on in the second half of 2018 and 2019, and we have achieved a growth of 4.5% in 2019. Among the G20 countries, the highest, and among the OECD countries, the second best performing country we were. In 2018 August, as a result of the attacks we faced, the global finance system tried to impose high interest rates policies on us. On one hand, foreign currency attacks, and on the other, with the effect of foreign currency on the inflation, and on the other, unfair income lookers indeed were the ones and the issues we fought against. If it were not for our struggle, could our business people survive? If we had not struggled, fought against those foreign currency attacks with all the means at hand, could we now have brought our economy to this level? Whenever Turkey puts forward a clear will about global economy and takes steps about its global rights, an account, a calculation made in the field of economy is brought into the scene. And those artificial winds will not bend Turkey. Turkey is not a country that will bend as a result of such winds. And all those indeed test the power of our country, but thank God we overcome all those tests and succeed in all of them. From our employers to the employees, from artisans to the craftspeople, we stood with every section of our society, and our timely and to-the-spot decisions have ensured that our country sustains its strategy in a very successful manner. Yesterday, for example, we were in Gebze district of Kocaeli province, and we inaugurated many facilities by TÜBİTAK. Then we made our way to Kocaeli University and opened many new facilities. We are not stopping, and this weekend hopefully we will be visiting another city to yet inaugurate other facilities or units or centers, and we have some city hospitals to inaugurate. So we will continue to march on our path. We will not stop. Some only speak words, but we engage in action. So from 2002 on, the structural transformation that our economy has been going through was only possible through the investments we have made. And according to the World Health Organization, the number of the coronavirus infected people is about 20 million across the world. And now we have Konya City Hospital, and it has come operational, but we have not still officially opened the facility, but they started admitting patients. And we will be constructing other city hospitals across our country and prepare our infrastructure for the needs, for the demands of our people. And in terms of death rates, our country ranks 57th in the world. And hopefully, when this era of pandemic comes to an end, Turkey will be one of the countries which has overcome the pandemic with the least amount of damage. My distinguished people, the pandemic does not only threaten the lives or the health of people, but it also results in very notable economic outcomes. The global economy has been facing the biggest economic crisis of the last century. Due to the pandemic, the global supply chains and international trade has have made challenges and paused and faced many difficulties across the world, loss of employment, and on the other hand, many changes in the economic fields presented. And upon the fact that we understood the effects of the pandemic more clearly, international organizations have revised their forecasts. IMF, for example, increased the figure from 3% to 4.9%. And when it comes to OECD, it has revised the figure from 2.4 to 7.6. The economic indicators also indicate countries and big economies like the USA, Germany, or the UK, and these indicators show that they have been indeed very harshly impacted by the global pandemic. And in the second half of the year, the US economy did shrink by 39%, and this figure is 15.7% for the European economy. And in the same period, the German economy did shrink by 11.7%, and the Italian economy by 17.3%, and the Spanish economy by 22.1%. So this is how the economies of various parts of the world shrunk. And when it comes to the employment rates, on agricultural employment rates, there has been tremendous drops. So in the face of all those challenges, all countries started to intervene to slow down the recession. Despite all the supportive, of course, policies, it is expected that economic recovery will take time. And the Turkish economy, of course, has been negatively impacted in the short term in the face of the pandemic. However, thanks to the measures we have taken and our experience against shock waves, our resilient economic structure, and steps we have taken to further solidify our economy, we have recovered very rapidly. To further reduce the number of negative impacts of the pandemic, we have supported many companies, our artisans, craftspeople, and SMEs, and we have brought the Economic Shield program to practice and enlarged its scope gradually. And thanks to the measures we have taken, and by way of containing the virus, we have taken steps for normalization parallel to the world. As of May, the economic indicators and expectations signal improvement, and we have started receiving the signals of that. And as of June and July, we have started observing the effect, the positive effect. And the pre-indicators for August and July also signals further recovery in economy. The Consumer Trust Index in July went up to 60.9%, and the real market trust index in July went up to 99.4% from some 70%. Economic Trust Index was 51.3 in April, while in July it has come up to 82%. Procurement Managers Index was 33.4% in April, and in July it has come to 56.9%. And as of February 2020, it has achieved its highest score. When it comes to the manufacturing industry capacity usage rate, it was 61% in April, and now it stands at 70.7%. As of May, seasonal effect reduced trust index continued to register an increase. Vehicle manufacturing rates have been registered at 77%. When it comes to the sales of automobiles, we have observed an increase by more than 100%, and the tendency for increase in July in the automobile sales continued, and on a monthly basis, it went higher, and it has achieved the highest figure of this year. When it comes to export, we have also achieved the highest figures, and the correspondence of meeting the needs of our country through export to compensate for import, we have paved a lot of way, and this figure has been registered at 66%. And in summer months, upon the visits of many tourists and who have come so far, and many tourists to come, the index rates figures, trust indexes will signal better results, and I believe the vehicle and dwelling houses sales also will be breaking records in the coming months. We also observe an acceleration in the growth of our loans, and thanks to the strong structure of our banking sector and its resilient structure and profitable position, we will achieve better results. And on the other hand, we see that there are good performances in the banks. The sector does not have a risk of foreign currency based risks, and receivables are at tolerable levels. And Turkish economy prioritize production instead of consumption, and is now based on export rather than import, and has become more and more integrated into the world economy, and will continue on its path with a more added value model. And in this new global order, Turkey, with its global position, strategic position, global links, its human capital, know-how, and skills, will make another success story. And in the past 2 years, despite all challenges, we have worked hard for the structuring of a strong and resilient economy and brought in many policies to life. And there were expectations for further downsizing in the global economy, but in the face of those even, we have captured all the opportunities, immense opportunities that have come our way, and we will continue resolutely to make the best of those opportunities. As you all know, those who work with love will not be tired. And with this principle, we have acted for the past 18 years. And in the forthcoming periods, my distinguished brothers and sisters, we will continue to serve our people. May God be with us and help us. I would like to thank to everyone who have believed, who has believed in our strong cause and who has supported us. I would like to convey my special thanks on behalf of the Ministerial Cabinet, and I personally extend my thanks. And as you know, we will be celebrating the anniversary of the foundation of our party on August 13th, and I will be delivering another speech and talk hopefully about what we have done in detail since our foundation, what we have produced and what we will do. I will share all of these with my people, and we will continue with self-confidence. Thank you. Stay in health.